in Solo City, Indonesia. And before that, I am very thankful to God for the opportunity that's given to me to be able to share my story with you guys. And also thank you to Brother Maico, who reached out to me and gave me the opportunity to be able to witness and share my testimony with you. So today I am going to tell you about a love story. Well, obviously, not the love story that you read in novels or you see on televisions. No, not that. But the love story that I believe each and every one of us experience when we first started to have a relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Well, I was born in a Christian family, and as I grew up, I believe that we have to do certain things in order to fit in our society. We have to look a certain way, or like to speak, to act in a certain manner. And I even believe that I have to have good grades so other people will accept me, or I have to be pretty or handsome or such things. And that's basically how I live my life. I always think of ways so I can be accepted, of ways so I can please other people, but it never occurred to my mind how I can please God. And in senior high school, I thought I had the perfect life. I am doing well in my studies and I have social life. Every weekend I used to go to parties with my friends, or maybe go to shopping centers, malls, hang out with my friends. And my spiritual life, well, I would go to church and then I serve and I have a schedule too. And then I also pray in the morning or before I eat or before I sleep. I thought I had a good spiritual life. I thought my life was well balanced. But in reality, my life was not well balanced. My life was actually lukewarm. Now, remember about the Laodicean church who thought that they were rich, but God said that they were poor. They just didn't realize it. And that's practically what I was. But I thank God that He rebuked those people that He loves. As time goes by, there are some problems in my family, and I felt like I didn't have peace. And then, not long after, my mother was diagnosed with a heart disease, and that just made things much worse for me. When I was in third year high school, I was beginning to get so stressed up. At school you have to study and prepare for the exams, while at home I couldn't even feel at rest. I couldn't even feel that I'm safe. It's like there are so many conflicts going on in my life, in so many different directions, that I just don't know where to go. I was so lost. And soon I began to feel hopeless. I began to feel depressed. And I began to feel very anxious. I started to worry so much. I started to be scared of practically everything. I even came to a point where I don't want to go out of my room. I don't want to meet other people. I don't want to meet my friends, my own family members. I don't even want to go to church. And that lasted for several months. Well, at that point, I used to lock myself in my room. I really don't want to go out of there. It's my safe place. But during those times where I was alone, where I was away from everyone else, is actually the times that I seek God and I started to feel closer to God than I was ever before. I started to read my Bible. I started to read the Spirit of Prophecy. I started to pray, and not the formality prayer that I used to do, but praying for me that time was really talking to God as if He's right beside me, talking to God as if He's my best friend that I always come to, that I was like cast all my burdens and troubles upon. So at that time, when I was close to God, I realized that I didn't feel depressed anymore. All those anxiety, all those fears, all those worries that are inside of me are just, I didn't feel those anymore. But as soon as I got a little bit away from God, or I got distracted with something else, all those fears began to come back. And I realized at that time that the only way that I may feel at complete rest, that I may feel at complete peace, is when I was close to God. And one of the most wonderful stories that I've learned at that time was that of Hosea. You know, the Lord told him to take a prostitute as his wife. And I was wondering, why would the Lord do that? And then, at some time in their marriage, this prostitute committed adultery. But, the Lord told Hosea to take his wife and love her back. And I was like, why? I mean, she particularly cheated on him. But it is at that time when I realized that, that prostitute who keeps on chasing at other men is actually me, who keeps chasing at everything that this world has to offer. While God is actually in my back, calling me to go back home. Yet after everything that I've done, He's willing to pay for my debts and take me back. And that love is something that I cannot understand. And that keeps ringing on my mind for a long time after that. And time goes on, and I graduated from senior high school eventually. And at that time, I was wanting to go to college. I wanted to become a doctor. But at the same time, I felt that God has slowly but surely put a calling in my heart to be a missionary. And I was confused. I didn't know which one I should choose, seriously. So I prayed to God, Lord, you know the desires that I have in my heart. And you know what's going to happen in the future. You know what's best for me. So I'm going to let you decide for me. So at the time, there was this exam called the SBMPTN, where if you can pass that exam, you can go to a public university. And that was what I wanted at the time. So I told God, Lord, I'm going to take that exam. Just that once. Just that one try to go to college. But if you don't want me to go to college yet, if you want me to be a missionary, then don't let me pass that exam. On the other hand, if you want me to go to college, then of course I'll be able to pass that exam. That was how I was thinking at that moment. And so I prayed. And then, true to that, I didn't pass that exam. So it was clear to me that that was not what God wanted from me at the time. And I decided that I will become a missionary. When I first told my parents that, they were shocked. Okay, that was out of nowhere. And well, at first they were kind of reluctant. They were like doubting that I can go through that kind of life. Like, I mean, missionary life is not an easy life. To some people, it may even sound extreme. But they soon came to accept my decision. And then at that year, I joined a missionary training in one of the ministry centers in Solo. And when I came to that place, I felt that this is actually where I'm meant to be. Like, I met so many people who inspires me to grow in my relationship with God. And I also see that in the ministry work, you can actually see God's hand working, like, really clearly, like you've never seen it before. And it was in that time that I actually know how to build a relationship with God. And it's not a one-time experience, it's a daily experience that you actually have to nurture every day. And that's just, wow. I think that God really knows what He's doing in my life. God really knows what's best for me. And I just thank God for the opportunity to be able to be there, to be able to work for God. And in the end, I can finally say that God's plan really is best for me. Sometimes, especially as young people, we tend to make plans ahead for our lives, and that's fine, that's good actually. You need to have a direction in your life. But know that whatever plans we have, God's purpose will prevail. And His purpose for us is good, is better than all the plans that we have in our life. And, sometimes we may experience hard times, we may experience trials and tribulations, but we must understand that those things are what actually makes us closer to God. Those things are what makes our faith grow. So we must learn to see the light even in the difficult times. One more that I want to tell you guys is that, sometimes we are so into this world that we became what the book of Revelation warned us against. We became lukewarm in our life as Christians. When people see us, sometimes they won't be able to distinguish whether we are Christians or not. We've been so merged into the world. And we need to be careful of that. Sometimes we think that, I don't need help. My spiritual life is okay. I have a good walk with the Lord. But that is actually a dangerous position to be in. So inspect yourself. Ask yourself whether or not your life is lukewarm. Go through His Word every day. Kneel in prayer. And when you go out and do your everyday activities, make sure that what you do is for Christ. And pray to God that whatever you do, you will be able to represent Him to the people around you. So I think that's all I can share to you today. And I really hope that what I've shared can be a blessing to each and every one of you. And if you have the same or the similar experiences that I had, I just want to tell you to be strong and have hope. Know that God has a beautiful, beautiful future for you. May God bless you.